Okay, we're covering assessments, disclosure, and cleanup on this next lesson. And we're going to have 4 lessons, and it should be pretty quick. It's only 4 lessons and 1 unit exam with 4 questions. There's a lot of 4s in here. So we should be able to get this done under 30 minutes for sure. It's more environmental stuff, which we've went over a lot of times already. So it must be super important if they keep repeating this stuff. Environmental acts. I know we already talked about this on another video. This one I've never heard of before. So this is super fun. Amendments and reauthorization. So identifies sites that have hazardous substances and requires the responsible party to clean it up. So if the seller did it, then the seller needs to clean it up. Circular is by removing homeowner cleanup responsibility if contamination occurred prior to their ownership. Okay, under circular, landowners can be held responsible for the cleanup of hazardous material, even if they didn't cause the waste. Right there it says that. If hazardous contamination has occurred, the EPA is authorized to take remedial action with the cooperation of those identified for responsibility of the contamination. Liability is solely with the owner, and those who are responsible for the contamination refuse to pay for the cleanup. The EPA can seek damages in court. There are 3 levels of liability: strict, joint, and retroactive, right here. So the only one that is false is this one. Liability for contamination does not always lie with the owner of the hazardous waste site, but sometimes other people can put stuff in the waste site. So that, other than that, everything else is true here. All right, environmental assessment phases. I look at the property's history. Okay, let's see. There's 4 phases here. Investigation. The property is reviewed. 2 is testing. If the test shows nothing, cleanup is whatever cleanup is necessary to be done. And 4 is the project is monitored. I guess this would be cleanup. This would be testing, this investigation. Looking at the property's history is investigation. When it comes to the environment, everyone must do their part. Okay, the agent's responsibility, what is your role? Which is the most important, okay, because this is what we're taking this study guide for, is to pass this test. You should know your job thoroughly, which is one of the reasons I guess they keep going over and over and over the same subjects here. Okay, so know your job thoroughly. Serve your clients to the best of your ability. Let someone know if you're in over your head and disclose everything. All of these are your responsibilities. If they're asking you questions that you don't know the answer to, you need to refer them to a professional. Don't try and pretend like you know something to impress somebody, because you could get into some legal issues. Plus, then your client is not going to trust you, and you may never get them again in the future. Or they're not going to refer you to anybody else. And this is what you really need when you're starting off. You need to get referred. You need referrals, referrals, referrals. You need to make your customers and your buyers, your sellers happy so that they will refer you to their friends and neighbors, and before you know it, you have more than you need. Because you are a well-trained professional, you are obligated to detect environmental issues. Now, I don't know about that. To me, that sounds a little much. You are not expected to uncover environmental issues with the property, but you are expected to seek assistance from experts. Yes, that I agree with. All environmental hazards are not easily detected. I mean, sometimes you have to come in there with tests. How would you know? I mean, there's no way you would know that without coming in there and being able to do a test. When you make recommendations to have these testing done, you should keep copies of the recommendations on your part, that you've done your part to make your client aware of these possibilities. Okay, so this one here is false. The client is not legally obligated to have the test done at all. They don't have to have them done. Just make sure you document everything. So that way they can't come back later and say, well, they didn't tell me about it. You know, it's called CYA, cover your ass. As a licensee, if your client discovers an environmental issue, you have the responsibility to disclose all this to all parties. If your client specifically asks you not to disclose something, you are not legally obligated, no. Although the seller has the primary responsibility to disclose as seller's representative, you can be held liable if these issues are not disclosed. The seller's agents of any commercial or industrial properties are required to disclose any hazards. If you represent a buyer of a commercial or industrial property, you should strongly recommend that they have a professional environment audit done. All right, then the next one might be specific to Maryland. I don't know. It says Maryland up here, so I'm not sure. No, all they're doing is asking one question, which is stupid. But anyway. Okay, we are 86% done. How about that? Maybe I'll do a final video when this whole class study course is over. All right, we only got 4 questions. A licensee must understand risk and provide disclosures of any known environmental issues. A licensee must also do which of the following? Hire professional inspectors. Or could be no one to ask questions. That could be another one. Okay, you don't say anything since it's your role to fill out it's not your role to fill out the disclosure form. If your buyer discovers issues with the well after closing, who is legally responsible? Well, the seller Barry disclosed properly when he filled out the disclosure form. However, you notice that he didn't disclose the test results that showed E. coli bacteria in his well water. Only Barry is legal, in my opinion, because you asked him to fill it out. If he knew the problem, you didn't know it. You only know what they tell you, and then if he didn't tell you and he knew about it, then he's responsible. All right, so if Sam and Monique don't pay the bill, which of the following could happen? The EPA could fine them. The EPA can seek damages in court up to 3 times the actual cleanup cost. If you suspect there might be an environmental issue with the property you're selling, but you're not sure, you should, oh my God, sell the property as quick as possible and cash the commission check. Ask a lot of questions, ask for help, and disclose everything if issues do exist. I would think that one would be the right answer. All right, well, I failed this. Okay, so we're going to take it again. Okay, so know when to ask questions. Okay, that was the one thing I was going back and forth with. This one here is both you and Barry. Why would I be responsible for this? You noticed that he didn't disclose the test results. Okay, well then yes, it would be, you would have a problem. If you noticed he didn't disclose something he was supposed to and you didn't say anything, then yes, you could be sued. I didn't pick that up and reading it. All right, so we got to do this again. You can only miss one question when there's 4 questions. All right, a licensee must understand risk and provide disclosures of environmental issues. What was the thing I just answered? Did I get it right? I can't even remember now. Shoot, this was just on another question. A licensee must also do which of the following? Hire professional inspectors. Know when to ask questions. I can't remember what this was. I hope we don't get it wrong. Okay. So Eric is interested in purchasing an industrial property to start a new business. You recommend soil, air, and water be tested. He's on a tight budget. What should you do? Keep records of your recommendations and a written response from Eric. Make sure you cover your butt. But you could also recommend he go get some home testing done, which is a little bit cheaper. Which of the following scenarios accurately represent your environmental disclosure responsibility? You must disclose all environmental hazards for commercial properties only. No. You must disclose them for residential and commercial. Okay. Which statement is used to consider ways to minimize a project's negative effect on the environment? I don't know. Oh, we passed. Yay. Let's see which one we got wrong. Oh, boy, I'm glad I got this one right. I was going back and forth. If you want to take any screenshots, now would be the time to do it. I'm going kind of slow. Oh, the last one. Yeah. Environmental impact statement. Oh, I guess so. It says impact on the environment in the question. So when you get questions like this, try and look at the question. That might help you with the answer. All right, the next one might be specific to Maryland. It says the closing process in Maryland. So if you're not in Maryland, then you don't really have to watch that. Unless you really care. But when you go to take your class, your continuing ed classes, you will need to know your state specific that you're trying to be a real estate agent in. I thank you all for watching this video, and I will see you soon.